Welcome. My name is John Wallagy, and I'm an IBM developer advocate. Often at a conference, you would find me in the expo hall at the IBM booth, and during a reception, you would come and learn about some of technologies available in IBM Cloud. We would be able to walk through a quick workshop and demo, and that's what I plan to do for you virtually this evening in today's video. So I decided, since we can't share a drink at the reception, I would bring to you an object detection model that can detect wine bottles, cheese, and corks. So we're going to use Watson Studio to build our object detection model using TensorFlow. Let's jump over and take a look at what we're going to do first. And we're going to walk through this workshop end to end, like a brand new user would, like you would, come to IBM Cloud and learn about how to build a object detection classification model. Go to cloud.ibm.com and you're presented with a login screen. If you don't yet have an IBM Cloud account, it's free, available. So you can sign up with your email address, and it doesn't expire. It's no cost, no credit card, and you can get yourself started. So I've done that. I've logged in. And I'm presented with a dashboard. First thing we want to do is explore some of the available services in the IBM Cloud Catalog. And so in the masthead, I'll click on Catalog. And I'm going to use Watson Studio, which is IBM's data science portal, which I'll introduce you to. And we're going to use a variety of services in combination with Watson Studio. So the first thing, of course, is to create an instance of Watson Studio. It is a way to take Jupyter notebooks and deep learning algorithms together with machine learning compute resources and train and build models based on your data sets with trust and transparency. That's really an important part of building trustworthy AI. We're going to store some of our training data in Cloud Object Storage. So we'll create ourselves a Cloud Object Store. We'll also create ourselves a machine learning instance so that we can deliver some compute resource. So we put it all together, and I've actually pre-created these. So I have a Watson Studio instance, some cloud object storage, and a machine learning. If I jump into my Watson Studio instance, let's click on Get Started to launch into Watson Studio. So IBM Cloud Pack for Data runs on top of Red Hat OpenShift. It is portable. You can take your data science and the Watson Studio services with you to other hyperscaler cloud providers, run it on top of IBM Cloud Satellite. You can run it as a service in the IBM Public Cloud, which I'm showing you here in the free tier. It's all available in the free tier. First thing we want to do is create a project. So let's go New. And we're going to create an empty project. So let's go click on Empty Project. The first thing we want to do is name our project Wine and Cheese. And we'll say Create. So now while that is being created, now we don't have anything in our project yet. The next step will be to add some training data. So I've collected bottles of wine and cheese plates and corks. I've got myself a Jupyter notebook. And so we want to go add these assets to our project. So let's first go add our data sets. Let's jump over and start to upload some of our data. We want to bring in just these four here. So we have our training data is in a zip file, and we have 3 files for validation. Let's start to upload those to Cloud Object Storage in our little project here. And so while that is running, we want to go and add another resource to our project here. We're going to add a Jupyter notebook. And so I'm going to do it from File. I happen to have it on my hard drive as well in that same subdirectory. And we'll say Open and Create. Now, we will create a Jupyter notebook. It's a Python Jupyter notebook. It's got 2 virtual CPUs, 8 gig of memory, available in the free tier. And so we're going to start up our kernel to run our object. So what we will do in this Jupyter notebook is load up TensorFlow. We will point it out our training data, and we'll walk through the cells, and we'll figure out how to do this together. And at the end, we'll have an object classification model that can detect wine bottles and cheese plates and corks. Okay, so if you've used a Jupyter notebook before, each cell has a little snip of code, and we can run through each of them. And so you'll notice here that I'm going to install a whole set of libraries, Python libraries. We will also want to bring in our, remember that data set we just uploaded? So let's go and add our snips here. So let's go bring in some credentials. Now, by the time you see this, I've already deleted this particular set. So the credentials are really not valid for you. All right, looks like we've installed all the TensorFlow libraries pretty soon, and we're waiting for that to finish. We'll associate that with our credentials and our cloud object storage. Looks good. Let's hit run for the next cell. And now, so we'll just jump here. So this next particular cell is a function that downloads from Cloud Object Store into memory the training data. Let's hit run. And so now let's go and grab wine and cheese from credentials 1. We just brought that in. You'll notice that as it's running, you'll see a little star, and then it finishes. It'll give us a number. Okay, file's downloaded. So we're going to import the training data from that zip file. Let's go take a look at what we've got here. So let's just do an ls. And we've got a whole bunch of wine bottles and a whole bunch of corks and a whole set of cheese plates. Now let's go build our model. And we're going to use TensorFlow with a Keras. So if you're not familiar with that, Keras is a set of deep learning APIs for Python. Makes it really simple to bring on top of TensorFlow and start to build some models. So let's go and create ourselves a base model from ImageNet and MobileNet 2. So we already have a pre-trained model, and we're going to add our layers on top of that. So let's go and click through those. All right, so now we're going to, in my little zip file, is a directory called data. And I've got 3 directories inside of data, one for wine bottles, one for cheese plates, and another for corks. I have 104 images, so about 35 images for each. And so now we're going to take a look. So here's some of the parameters for our model. And we're going to train our model next. So let's go kick that off. We're going to do 5 passes of steps through our data. I'm sorry, 4 steps through. And so this just takes about, pretty surprised, in just less than a minute, we'll have trained a model. Each step takes about 10 seconds or so. And so you'll notice that wine bottles and cheese plates and corks all have different shapes. That was purposeful on my part. And so we're going to really train on the shapes and colors of of these objects. Okay, let's go see how our model did. And so now we can go and do some accuracy. Looks like our model, as we went through each step, this is a good sign. So it continued to get more accurate. We didn't overtrain. We didn't. And so sometimes if you overtrain, your model starts to degrade. And so we are pretty close to, I'm really happy with this. Let's go take a look. Let's go see what labels it found in our training sets here. So we should have cheese, corks, and wine bottles. That's good. And we've got a function here to do prediction. And so let's go take a look. So we're going to take an image now. So remember that validation. I've got a wine bottle. Let's go download the wine bottle from Cloud Object Storage. And let's go take a look at that image. Well, this particular image has got 2 wine bottles. Let's go see what the model thinks. And so with 98% confidence score, it found a wine bottle. That's a good sign. That's pretty accurate. So now let's go grab some corks. Let's go take a look at this model, this particular file. It's a PNG instead of a JPEG. And files downloaded. There's just a pile of corks. That was fun. And so let's go take, so at 98% accuracy, the model thinks that this is a pile of corks. That's good. Now in our last little example here, we've got a cheese plate. Let's go take a look at our cheese plate. And there's our cheese plate. And let's go run a prediction on that. So with 99.9% confidence score, we think that this is a cheese plate. And so that was a pretty simple, straightforward little Python script with TensorFlow that allowed us to train a model on wine bottles, cheese plates, and corks. Now, if we were together in our expo hall, we would be able to discuss further what you might be able to build with this. But hopefully you've learned enough that you'd be interested in signing up for IBM Cloud. Go to cloud.ibm.com and create yourself an account. Learn more about Watson Studio. You can also visit IBM Developer, so developer.ibm.com. You can see some of the resources that I've created. And if you're interested, follow me on Twitter. Thank you.